people can come together from dramatically different viewpoints, talk about it rationally with ideas based on facts, and that afterwards we can still, get along with each other and treat each other civilly. The fight that we have in America right now to restore our economy, to defeat China, and in the economic markets where they're challenging us, to make sure that Americans have the ability to control what their children are being taught in schools. What can we do in Washington that's going to help put more people in homes, that's going to help your industry, that's going to help the American economy recover?
I think raise the standards, and you said, make it a fair playing field is what you can do if you're elected to Congress.
Hi, I'm Dr. Aury Nagy, Republican candidate for Congress in Nevada's 3rd Congressional District. Today I have with me Jeremy Lewis. He is a real estate developer with 20 years of experience here in the, real estate professional with over 20 years of experience in the market here in Las Vegas, and owns a company called something.
It's called Agent House. Yeah, I own a real estate brokerage out here called Agent House, and yeah.
Well, thank you here very much. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to redo that. That was just awful.
It's fine.
Today I have with me Jeremy Lewis. He is a top real estate executive here in Las Vegas, and he has over 20 years of experience. He's going to talk to us today about the housing market, what we need to do to get that back in gear, make homes more affordable, what kind of regulation we need in the country. And the name of your company is?
It's called Agent House. Yeah, I'm the founder and CEO, owner of a company called Agent House.
You look too young to be the founder of a real estate company.
I'm 45 years old, so I appreciate that. I love it. I'm not going to tell me more. But yeah, and so I've been in real estate really almost my whole life since I was 8 years old. And so my family was the largest home builder in Nevada, Lewis Homes. And so that was my father, grandfather, and cousins and uncles. And so I started building houses, digging foundations at 8 years old. Wow. And then I'd worked on over 1,000 home sites by the time I was 20, about to be 21. And so built 1,000 houses, and then was ready to, get into family business. And then they sold the KB, and then I had to rethink everything. And so I'm a local boy, born and raised, obviously, here in Vegas. And so
where'd you go to high school?
Silverado, 99. Oh my God, so, yeah. So, yeah, that it shows. So it was Silverado, 99. And then I graduated. I went to, UNLV and got my bachelor's in history and graduated in '04. And then I was like, I got to do something. And I, put all my experience in life and education. Got my real estate license in 2004. And 22 years later, here we are. And so I just opened up my own brokerage here in Vegas and in Chicago, and I'm open in Scottsdale. I'm going to be open in Houston. I'll be open in Orange County very soon next year, and I'm expanding, nationwide, and we can talk about that.
You have been phenomenally successful. Congratulations. That's
Thanks.
amazing.
It's a long time coming, and everyone up and down, at least I did in my life and career, and now it's really all come together, and it's time.
Sounds like you jumped into the real estate business, at least as a producer and seller, right at just before the bubble burst.
Right. Yeah. So I did, and so that was my first lesson in real estate. And because of my connections and my experience that I had before, I was making a huge amount of money, well over $1 million a year. Initially, as immediately got in, I knew how to work the system. The market was going crazy, and so '04, '05, '06 were great times, and I was a very young guy, 24 years old at the time. And so, of course, I had no foresight. I didn't think, 5 minutes ahead. And, of course, 2008 happened. I lost everything, completely bankrupt. And then
that must have been really scary.
It was tough, but I do look at it as a blessing. And that happened at 26 for me instead of 36. 46 would have been much more difficult to recover, to be honest with you. And that happened to a lot of people. And so I'm glad it happened then, and then brought me back down to earth, and I had 13 houses and 6 cars and lost it all, and I had to go to my father to lease me a car, and I had to go to my mother, who was, she started Ed Bernstein's work comp department in 1988. Her name's Karen Green Lewis, and she taught me most everything I knew. I remember in 1991, she went off on her own and to open her own law firm, and there's only like 2 other women that even had their own law firm in Las Vegas in 1991. Yes, Karen Green Lewis. And so I remember she pulled me out of school when I was in 6th grade, and I was like, great, no school for 8 weeks. And so she's having me and my stepdad remodel a 1950s hair salon on Charleston and 7th into her law office. And so I was like, send me back to school at the time. And so my life's been really revolved around real estate since I was very young. And then when I was in high school, my stepdad was in luxury renovation. So he did Mike Tyson's house, Celine Dion, Shania Twain, etc. And so I was working on all that part. I hated every moment of it. The heat and manual labor, I just hated it. But when I look back, it was really good experience. And so it gave me a unique perspective on the market and the market nationally as a whole.
Well, and it gives you a tremendous idea of what things actually cost to get done. How much you have to pay the labor, how much you have to pay for equipment, what it's going to take to actually get a piece of work done, to get something improved or fixed
Right.
up or turned over or flipped. And so you have tremendous experience. You're building this field. You're probably one of the best people in the state to ask.
I'd like to think so. It's just a very unique experience. Doesn't make me better than anyone, but it's a very unique where, to be able to have that from, 8 years old throughout your whole life. And so it was, I don't regret it at all. I hated every moment. If I'm being honest, when I look back, but it all now is, being 45 years old, the last 4 or 5 years, I've been like, thank God all that happened, or I'd be kind of lost in this world.
Do you sit on any boards or committees for real estate or for the governor, or do any work in that?
No, and I'm open to that, but the main thing that I'm focused on is, like you said, the real estate industry is transforming. AI is coming in, and I've founded not just my real estate company, but also an AI tech company that serves the real estate part, because in 3 years on our phones, we're all going to have at our disposal, it's called AI agent, and it's going to be a holographic AI real estate broker, real estate attorney, and a mechanical and structural engineer that has this technology called computer vision, which some of my technology that I'm deploying for my real estate investment acquisitions division of my firm has, and it's going to really change everything. It's going to eliminate 80% of agents, and so, and it's going to be, and it's just better than me. I'd say with all my experience and everything, it's better than me. And so,
How so? Like what can it do for somebody that's better than what you do?
I have years of experience as an agent and a broker, but I can't memorize all the statutes, all the policies, everything, every single thing, and not miss anything no matter what. It can. I'm not a real estate attorney, and so I can't apply real estate law. I could do it at some level. I actually been to law school, so here, boy, but it's doctors. Doctors are like, it's like, lawyers are like doctors. And so if you don't go to a podiatrist if you need cancer treatment, you need to go to an oncologist. And so it's the same thing. And the law is very specialized. And so but it's going to be that good. And then for the inspection part, we don't have x-ray vision. We don't have all that. It's called computer vision, and it's going to have these additional things, and it's be able to look at properties, see through the walls, see everything that an inspector, a very expensive inspector, would charge. It's going to change everything.
Things are moving so fast, and I hadn't even heard about what was going on in the real estate industry.
They don't want to scare people, because 1 million people are going to be out of a job in this country. Wow. And that's
But
scary.
will the average consumer be able to know what the right questions are to ask? I would imagine if the average consumer came to a home and you came to a home and they had that AI, I think you'd still get a better deal. You'd know more about what was going on with the property, and you'd still be able to know how to structure things and get a better price than they would. Am I wrong?
Well, yes and no. Is that I can't prove you wrong yet, because the AI, it's called agency AI, and that they're just coming on, and part of what a technology that I've developed, came on this year. And so 26 and 27, it's agency AI that's going to change many industries, and those are semi-autonomous thinking AI applications. Right now, we don't have that. We just have, this AI does a video that takes a certain amount of photos and videos of you, and then can mimic you on video. It doesn't think for itself, and so these are coming on, like you said, in 3 to 4 years, where it's autonomous to semi-autonomous. So it asks you the questions. You don't have to ask it. Right now, you have to ask ChatGPT and give it context for everything, and that's extremely effective, like hugely effective. You won't have to do that in 3-4 years, and it's going to change everything. Unless, like you said, unless the technology just disappears, that's what's coming on the horizon. But no one wants to talk about that, because it would freak out everyone. And I think you probably know in all your experience, which in medicine, is that people don't change until they absolutely have to. I could give example, and myself included, so I make no judgments on anyone. I know you've given advice to someone, don't do X, Y, and Z, or do A, B, and C, and they're like, I'm fine right now. And then a catastrophic medical event happens, and then you have to get involved surgically or not, and then maybe they'll even change then. But that will be the precipice in which they do, if they will, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, what's the name of the product that you've developed?
It's called MLS1 USA.
MLS1. Okay.
Yeah. And so
MLS1 USA.
yeah, and so what's that?
.com or
No, it's just that's the name of my company, and so I own several domains for that'll be coming on. So I'm launching that this year. I've launched here in Vegas. I'm launching in Scottsdale and nationwide the technology, and so basically think of we have a huge wholesale and investment sector in this country. So we have a $6 trillion residential market every year in this country. There's about 3 million transactions every year. So,
and that's just nationwide or
nationwide. And so we have
that's 1% of the country is moving in any given
yes,
in a year.
Yes. Oh, okay. And so we have a locally, obviously that's depends on the population of whatever city you're in. But as far as sorry, I lost my train of thought. As far as the wholesale and investment sector, that's 10% of the market. So it's a $600 billion sector. And it's been the same, that process for wholesaling and flipping and has been the same for about 112 years. It's the same process. And so what I managed to develop with a lot of money, and the human side and the AI side have to work together. You can't do this in an AI lab because they don't know how the real world works and real estate works. They're clueless. I tried that. And the real estate side is very antiquated and slow, and people are stuck in their ways. We kind of talked about the human nature. And so it's a AI-human collaboration where the AI can make valuations in less than a second on properties and know what, and there's a tech called computer vision where it can look at the photos. So the photos are that's where the human part comes in, because everyone's like, oh, I got an AI valuation app. It's a joke. It's just a simple algorithm. What's changed, and it's going to change, like I said, in medicine as well and everywhere, is that the AI will be able to look at the radiology report and interpret it, and be able to give data and make evaluations based on what it sees, because it has a reference point already. And so that's what computer vision does. So we give it the data, it looks at the photos like you would as an acquisition manager for an investor. Like me, that's what I've done for 22 years. Here's the comps. That's easy to have a data point. Then without a property condition to attach it to, your valuation's way off. That's why Zillow lost $900 million in 2023.
Why? How?
Because they had their estimate. You know what? You've heard of the Zillow's estimate?
I don't know.
Okay, so perfect. So Zillow has this estimate, so they got into the wholesaling and flipping game.
Okay.
And so they didn't take it. They had their estimate, their valuation algorithm, and they didn't account for the technology didn't exist until to the end of 2024.
So as I'm following you, what you said is that Zillow, they used to just be connecting people to homes, and if you wanted to sell your home, other people would go onto Zillow, look and say, oh, this is a home, and that's great. And then they got into this game where they were going to go ahead and buy up these homes and then sell the homes.
Smart.
And because they had all this information, they could well ascertain what the relative price comparatives were. Right. They said, all right, well, let's just go ahead and start, making the margin ourselves.
100%. And they lost their ass because they didn't understand that you have to have the human side plus the tech side.
So I would argue that helps people who think that maybe they're going to get to keep their jobs for at least another year.
Yes.
Who are real estate agents.
Yes, but we're going to have to innovate. The traditional role as a real estate agent or broker, X, Y, and Z is going to be gone. It's going to be a hybrid where can I still be of service? Where no one's going with AI is in luxury. So that's going to be a bastion for real estate agents. But guess what? There's 100,000 luxury agents right now out of 1.6 million realtors. What's going to happen is there's going to be an epic civil war, a bloodbath, because the person, Sally and Joe, that do 50 deals a month at 150K to 200K, and they're hustlers. They're killers. They're not just going to go quietly in the night. They're going to go into luxury, and there's going to be a bloodbath on who's left standing. And so it's not going to be really the best, but there's going to be the best of the best will remain. It'll lift the quality of the remaining realtors. But the only other bastion to go into is representing investors, and that's what I'm doing. So I have real estate brokerages, but it's really not a real estate brokerage. It's really I'm masquerading as a real estate brokerage. I'm really an investment firm. And so that's the future where I can survive in my profession. I love my profession. And so agents are going to have to become real estate investors and represent investors only in order to survive, unless they want to go and fight it out in the luxury sector.
What do you think about what Donald Trump had to say this week about pushing out the hedge funds from home ownership?
I love it. There's 5 to 7 guys and girls that control the investment market that he's specifically talking about, that you're referencing.
For the whole country?
No, in each city. Okay. They control it. They do. They do 80% of those deals. Wow. And so this is going to level the playing field.
Explain that to me. I don't understand. I don't understand how 5 to 7 people can control all the home sales.
No, not all the home sales. The investment sector.
Okay, within the investment sector. Okay,
yeah,
how does that work?
And so they just a matter of who rises to the top. Everyone wants to be a real estate flipper and wholesaler and investor. Whoever puts their money where their mouth is and brings the structure in the team. You need a 20-person team to really do this effectively and write these offers and evaluate the properties. And so whoever does that, it's very few individuals that have 5 to 7 people that have a massive team, and by default they control 80% of the wholesale and flipping sector.
I had no idea it took 20 people to kind of really get all that stuff done effectively and efficiently.
And AI is going to take all of that, the tech that I've developed with my partners is going to change the whole game, which puts the power back in the realtor's hand. Who better to represent investors than realtors? So these investors have cut all realtors out by doing this. They've opened their own brokerages just to serve as this technology. I've done the same thing, but I'm going to include realtors on the process. And really, it's going to give an opportunity to save the industry, because everyone has to change or adapt. I know you have in your career. I don't know you. Like I said, I've heard of you and only good things, but I don't know you. But I know to even be in the position you're in right now, you've had to change at least 5 or 6 times drastically on how you did your practice, your business, your life. Because I know I have. So, or I wouldn't have survived. So they're going to have to do that. So everyone's going to look at it as terrible, because it's human nature. We go back to it as like people don't generally have a problem changing. It's the fear of the unknown. Yeah. So they don't want to change, even if they know logically that the end result will improve their life. That fear that's biologically wired in us for 1 million years or whatever it is since we've been around, overcomes the logic part of the brain, where if I change this, then it'll improve my life. The fear paralyzes them, not the actual changing part. And so it's all psychologies, and my interns and all my executives and everyone that I've been trained, hundreds of agents over the years, they're like, how do I do a deal? I'm like, honestly, a trained monkey could do a real estate transaction. I know scary, stupid people that do tons of business. I'm serious, I was being honest with you, Doc. They're scary, stupid, but people like them.
Yeah, I was going to say, they connect with people well, right? Yeah.
So we're talking right now, and as soon as we met, for both of us, so this applies to everyone, we make a subconscious snap judgment. Do I like him or her? Do I trust him or her? And it's done. And if that happens, things grow. People will reach out to you and connect with you and come to you. And so if they don't, they run, whether they're conscious of it or not. That's what I've done. It applies. It's not special, like you're doing this and I'm not. I am. Is too, and I have no control of it, neither do you. And so,
great job of it, though. You kind of agree your company.
You like I said, telling the truth is people can tell subconsciously.
Right. I agree with that.
And it's always good for business. Yeah. And so it's just brain science. Like I said, this is medicine. This was just your area, not mine. But I found what really rings true is understanding the psychology of people, not the thing that I'm doing. That's the easy part, is selling the real estate. And so what people don't understand, and what I didn't understand, so I make no judgments, is that it took me maybe 40 to understand that I always want to do things backwards. I always want to know how to do things. I'm like, I have a very high IQ, I'm very educated, I have these advantages that other people have, and I'm not sorry about it, but I do. How do I do this to get ahead? And I was doing it all wrong, I realized. You have to have a clear intent mixed with an elevated emotion. And that's a fancy way of saying you have to have a what and a why.
Okay.
If you just have a what, you've been there because I've been there. Oh, I'm going to do this. And then there's no emotion or energy attached to it. So people are like, oh, New Year's resolution, I'm going to work out. I'm going to get in the gym. And they'll burn out after a few weeks or a few months maybe because they don't have a why they're doing it. It just sounded like the thing to do. Or if you just have passion, oh my God, I'm going to feed the children, the starving children. Why are you doing, what is the reason why you're doing that? Oh, I want to have all this passion, but you don't have a clear intent. Those are the dreamers that, that never get anything done. And so if you have both, they fuel each other, and then the how comes afterwards, and that is terribly uncomfortable. People hate it. I hated it. I didn't want to deal with have a real clear intention with the elevated emotion to combine and then pursuing not knowing what would happen in the end. People want certainty. It's terrifying because of how we're biologically wired. But I had to overcome that, and it wasn't the thing that I was doing in real estate or investing or anything that was an issue. It was that.
What can we do in Washington that's going to help put more people in homes? That's going to help your industry. That's going to help the American economy recover.
I think raise the standards, and you said make it a fair playing field is what you can do if you're elected to Congress.
Make what a fair playing field?
Make it so it's not such a benefit for only investors to be in the real estate market. Make it more of a benefit. Like you said, this is a huge investment, and it's really the only thing tangible that people can have in their life. And people have gotten away from that because affordability is so high. I know the politicians talk about it, but they talk about it in the abstract. What can you actually do on the ground? And like you said, yes, interest rates need to be lowered, but we need to keep foreign investors out. We need to keep institutional investors out because by them coming in just for the tax benefit, they're going to inflate the market, which cuts us out.
Exactly.
And so this is what Trump's doing right now. But he needs backing in Congress. He needs backing in the Senate. He needs backing in the local and state governments to effectuate this, or nothing will get done. The Zillow is a behemoth, and it's taken all of realtors' data, and so they're monetizing that and getting it out around to, like I said, these institutional buyers and investors, where we need to take what's back what's ours. And like I said, that keeps the jobs and the human side at least going, and partner with AI to be more effective for our clients. And so that's what we need regulation. We need regulation to benefit the American citizens.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
And that's what needs to be pushed, and not let the lobbyists, not let the special interests, not let the powers that be keep the status quo. I think that's what Trump does, and people either love it or they hate it about him, is that he doesn't answer to anyone, so he's just going to do what he thinks is right. Does he do everything that's right? No, I don't agree with everything he does, but why I like him and why it doesn't matter about his politics is that he's making a judgment from what he thinks is going to help everyone else, not himself.
I see a lot of that in what he does.
Because he doesn't need to. He's already rich. It's very useful to have a president that's already very powerful and wealthy to begin with. So he doesn't need to answer to the donors. He doesn't need to answer to the political class X, Y, and Z. And if you can and will do that, and you'll be effective in Congress and beyond, in my opinion.
No, he's been great. It's easy to support what he's doing because so much of what he's doing makes sense.
Right.
And I think, people who got caught up in the whole personality of the gentleman, or, about his, who he used to be 20, 30 years ago, I think they're kind of missing what he's doing for the country today. And what he's doing for the country today is making so many moves that are so beneficial for so many people here.
Yeah, it just makes sense. It's not, they want to make it personal or about him, or it's not. To every other country in the world does not have open borders. They don't. So how is it him being racist, or being racist, saying no one can come in unless they are allowed? Because if I can't go to Mexico unannounced, I'll be arrested.
Yeah, we have to have rule of law.
So it's not like has nothing to do with Mexicans or Latinos or any race or nationality, and people want to twist it in that, and they're just wrong. It's, hey, this isn't good for the country. Why do Nigerians get to have these benefits to protect them, but we can't for us?
Or
And
the whole thing that's going on in Minnesota right now with all the Somali folks who came in.
yes,
they
there's
got all
massive
this tremendous-
fraud.
All the benefits they got first, and then the fraud that they committed on top of it after they were welcomed into our country in the first place. It's appalling.
There's massive fraud everywhere in the country, and people don't want to pay taxes. People want to evade the system, like you said, especially people with wealth. When I see my money going towards fraud or to foreigners, I want it to go to Americans. That's not a racist position. That's not a bigoted position. That's just actually a patriotic and American position. I'm here. My tax dollars, I have no problem lifting up Americans.
Yeah.
If Americans commit fraud and abuse, they should be prosecuted too. But certainly, no one that's not an American should receive any assistance from the government because they're already by default here illegally. That's not a.
I agree with
It's
you.
not a racist position.
If they're here illegally, they should be removed unless they're here under some special circumstance that a court has approved for whatever. And then it becomes legal.
Yes,
right?
if
So
you
they're
get
illegal,
special
then-
status, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's just common sense. It has nothing to do with them personally.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's rule of law. It's having rules that we put in place that people can then follow and say, yeah, we know what's supposed to happen. And
Right.
as far as confidence in
I
the
don't think it's
government.
controversial to say that, and people are afraid, and we need people like you to enter the political fray that can just speak the truth and withstand the phony outrage from it. To be honest with you,
That is exactly. There's so much phony out, so much political politics.
you don't get to dance around when your clients need brain surgery.
That's true.
You don't get to be like, well, let me see what someone else. No, you have to tell them. You have a Hippocratic oath, and you could be sued by not disclosing what your expert medical opinion.
Yeah. No, they need what they need. There's no getting around it. And
So
we
why
do the
is
same thing in Washington.
their life's on the line? How are these other people's lives on the line? I don't see the distinction, Dr. Nagy. I don't.
I appreciate what you're saying. I do look at it that way too. I think the fight that we have in America right now to restore our economy, to defeat China, and in the economic markets where they're challenging us, to make sure that Americans have the ability to control what their children are being taught in schools, to have control over our own borders, to reduce the fentanyl epidemic that's invading our country from these countries.
Why is it, like I said, why is it,
obvious things.
why is it controversial? I just don't get it. Like I said, I don't see any politics. Fentanyl is put in these drugs. These drugs come from these countries. They kill more people every year than all of our wars combined, even the Civil War. Why? That's racist? That doesn't even make any sense. Exactly. Sorry, I was educated here in America by Americans. I just don't care. Like that's I founded a nonprofit called the Courage Project.
Okay.
And why I did that after Charlie Kirk was killed, not because I agree with Charlie Kirk's views, is that all he did was he's the only one that really talked to people in open dialogue and said, "Here's what I believe. What do you believe?" And then challenge them, not in a mean or disrespectful way. And then he made more sense to them, and people didn't like, and they killed him for it. And that's not how this country works.
I agree 100%. Exactly. That's not how this country works.
Yeah, there's no politics involved. No, anyone, left, right, middle, anywhere, on Mars, words that can express their words, as long as, like you said, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. But otherwise, this country's founded on free speech, and we need the First Amendment.
College of all places is supposed to be a place where people can get together and freely discuss ideas on both sides and then learn from each other.
You don't have to agree.
You know, I'll tell you, we did this after Charlie Kirk was shot. I reached out to my alumni association. So I went to Yale for undergrad, and they happened to have the largest and oldest debate society in the country. And so I invited them to come out here. They're going to be coming out here during spring break, and we're going to talk about they're going to discuss the most politically charged issues in the country at the moment. And what I want to demonstrate is that people can come together from dramatically different viewpoints, talk about it rationally with ideas based on facts, and that afterwards we can still get along with each other and treat each other civilly. It doesn't have to be this polarized debate where people hate each other over their ideology. We're supposed to get together. We're supposed to talk about the problems that we need to talk about to make our country stronger and better. because there are many threats out there that we have to work extremely hard together on to make our country better.
Right. And if we can get you elected to the Congress, you can effectuate that, because I know a lot of congressmen and senators have been blessed over the years that they're cowards, to be honest with you, because they believe what me and you believe right now. They do. I know you know them too. They just won't say it publicly. When they meet behind closed doors, yeah, they don't.
It needs to be said in public. And
It needs, because yes, and then they come out from their closed doors where they can reason and be rational and friends together, and then they pretend like they're enemies, and then it's all political posturing and nonsense for fundraising purposes and everything else to create a division. And they are responsible, and you can. I can only do so much from the outside. You're going into Congress, God willing, and then so you can have a much bigger impact that I could ever have, because we have to lead by example.
I agree with
Talk is fucking cheap. Excuse me, it is. It is, and that's what Trump does. He backs up everything he says. Everything he said he was going to do, no one can be upset with, because he said he was going to do it before he got elected. Here's what I'm going to do. Now they're going to be mad at him? You can't. That's the beautiful part about it. It makes him look foolish, because the only thing you can get mad is when Trump or anyone says, you tell me, oh, I'm going to pursue these ends and these means if I get into Congress, and not do that. Then you need to be held to account, not the opposite. It's madness.
It is. I'm so grateful for the work that he's been doing for our country, and thank you so much for coming onto the show.
I appreciate it. It's great to meet you. Like you said, my mother's firm. My mother's, like you said, been working with you, because she practices workers' compensation law, and so that's how she's known you for. Like you said, I think I remember meeting as a teenager, 30 years ago, and so because you're a legend in this town, to be honest with you, and I hope people can hear what you're saying and take it in, and not all automatically jump to a conclusion, and give you that chance to make a difference in Congress, because I think they're going to like what they get.
I think we can make Nevada and America a lot better. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Jeremy Lewis, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
This podcast is a campaign communication paid for by Nagy for Congress and authorized by me, Dr. Nagy. The views and opinions expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the campaign or its affiliates. Discussions are intended for informational and conversational purposes only and do not constitute legal, financial, or professional advice. Any references to public policy matters reflect general positions and priorities at the time of the recording and are subject to change based on legislative process and voter input.